Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back for another one. And I wanted to start this video off taking a look at coin market cap with you, because I got something that I want to point out. So, not sure if you follow him or not, but Bigger Than Race, his YouTube channel is really good. He has some really unique perspectives on what's going on in the crypto space. But anyway, I was chatting with him, and he had pointed out to me that Orbs was a gem in his book. And he told me that about 7 days ago. I didn't buy any. I didn't look into it either. I should have, because it's up about 600, more than 600% since then. But for one, this tells me that, at least in my mind, we're definitely starting to kick off an alt season. When you're seeing gains like this in these little micro caps, essentially, well, it used to be a week ago. Now it's a little bigger, but it's just signs that we're moving into the next phase of this market cycle, I would say. Right, the biggest gainers are going to start to come in the top 10 still. I think Ethereum's got a big move coming, XRP, you name it, but all these little ones are starting to fly, so it's a good sign for the market. But one thing I wanted to point out as well, in bull markets, it's usually more important to focus on the biggest losers, right? So NIM, that one's down 42%. I would say probably because of the airdrop that they did. Pancake could be good to maybe look to start taking an entry right here, I would say. But yeah, just wanted to point this out really quick. Sometimes in bull markets, it's good to come over here and see what your biggest losers are for 24 hours, because that might be something to start looking at taking a position in, depending on the chart, the project, and so on. Just got to do your own research. All right. So I wanted to point out that tool for you guys if you haven't already done so. Something to use going forward. So, not much price news for me to talk about today. Just one thing I wanted to show you real quick. At least in my opinion, this has to be one of the most manipulated cryptos in existence. As you see this big, what do we go up? About 20% on XRP in a few hours, and then it gets sent right back down 10% as soon as it gets a breakout. To me, this price is intentionally suppressed. Feel how you want about it, but I just see manipulation in this chart. So, you XRP bag holders, hang in there. You'll get your day in the sun. But one thing tying in with XRP as well is, on a brighter note, Flare keeps pumping. So it got as high as almost $2, $1.88 yesterday, earlier today, depending on where you are. But who knows what's going to happen with this Flare? I've had a lot of people asking me, is this the real price it's going to come out at? Well, these are just IOUs trading on one exchange. It does show that there is demand there for Flare, though, right? So one thing is obvious, there is demand. People want Flare, especially those that didn't participate in the airdrop, right? These are people probably learning about Flare that know about it, that are feeling like they might have missed out. So they're buying these IOUs up so that they at least have some exposure when it comes out. So when it first hits the market, I think it's going to be in May, maybe June timeframe. I think they said May. But anyway, only 15% of the supply, I believe, is going to be dropped. So it's really hard to tell what you can expect the price to be. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this IOU actually kind of dictates where the price goes. But we'll see what happens. All right. That's pretty much all I got for the price chart news for the day. So moving on to some mainstream news. So now CNBC put out this article today talking about what a crypto executive wishes investors knew before buying Bitcoin for the first time. So I thought this was pretty good to point out for those of you that are new to the space. Just a couple things to keep in mind, right? So they said there's a lot of volatility in the market, right? New guys are surprised by Bitcoin's volatility. Bitcoin is prone to major valuation swings as whales, the term for large institutional investors, buy and sell massive quantities. New investors should go in with clear eyes and brace themselves for major dips and spikes. And I agree with that. If you are entering the market, I wouldn't be trying to jump in on a day when it's way up and throw all your money at it. Maybe consider dollar cost averaging, which is taking out small positions consistently on a daily or weekly basis, whatever you feel, regardless of the price. The new guys and gals also don't go in with a plan and they let themselves get greedy. I see this all the time. People they chase gains, right? They see something going up, they want to chase after that, and then it dips and they lose money, then they go and do it somewhere else, and again and again. CZ Binance, right? The CEO of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, tweeted out yesterday, don't buy high and sell low, right? Because that's basically what this is. So they said one of the most important things a new crypto investor can do is know their goals, right? Know what you're trying to do. What are you trying to accomplish? Too often, Friedman says new investors get enamored by quick increases in the value of their holdings and decide to see if it goes up anymore. Instead, they should sell if they hit their targets, right? It's also true. Coming back to this coin market cap. So if you're reviewing the biggest gainers in the last 24 hour or 7 days, and you see your crypto on that list and you're up 700% or, whatever, 1,000, 50, 60, whatever's a good spot for you, maybe these are the ones you should be taking gains on. Not financial advice, just something to consider, and be moving into the ones that are down, right? You want to move into the ones that are down out of the ones that you're up on 700% on, right? It only makes sense. Things to consider, right? Also, the newbies try to time the market. One of the biggest mistakes Friedman sees new investors making is trying to wait to buy Bitcoin at the cheapest price possible, only to get upset if it goes up or goes even lower after they make their purchase. Like I just talked about. To avoid this, Friedman advises new investors to use the dollar cost average strategy, buying a little bit every day or whatever time to build your holdings over time. Like I just said, there's this handy dandy tool called DCA BTC.com that will tell you exactly how this dollar cost average strategy would have played out for you in Bitcoin, no matter what figures you did. So you can come here and play around with this. I just use this as a quick example, right? If you had put $25 in a week over the past 3 years, you would have invested a little less than $4,000 and you'd have $30,000 just in Bitcoin, right? And that's $25 a week. Slow and steady really does win the race. And that would have been through all the volatility that we saw in March last year and so on. I'm sure some of you guys don't want to see this even. I come back here and look at this, but this is nuts, right? So $25 a week starting in about March 2012, right? $11,000 invested and you'd have 9.8 million right now. $25 a week. All right. Everyone's probably thinking, well, Bitcoin already went up. Who cares? Well, guess what? This same strategy works for everything. So if you did it with some of these other cryptos that have good potential long term, they're nowhere near Bitcoin's market cap right now. All right. It's up over $1 trillion in valuation. A lot of these alts, in my opinion, the winners are going to get valuations over that level as well. So once again, stay patient, right? This is not a bad strategy. What else do the newbies do? Apparently, they get sucked into the world of altcoins. New investors who find themselves having luck with their Bitcoin investments may begin wondering about the other digital tokens available to purchase on their wallets. So I don't necessarily agree with this point. They point out Dogecoin and Bread, but to pretend that there's no value in crypto outside of Bitcoin is nonsense. All right. There's a lot of different use cases for all the different ones that exist, and they all serve a different purpose, basically, if you actually look into it. There are some clones out there that just copy other projects, but there's a lot of value if you just do your research, right? The reasons why Bitcoin might go up and the reasons why Ether might go up are completely different, but most people don't realize that, just like what I said, right? Next up, moving on to some government regulation news. Report all crypto transactions or face a 5-year jail term in South Korea. Strict reporting rules for crypto businesses in South Korea are set to come into effect, with existing firms given 6 months to comply or face stiff penalties. Right, when I first read this, I was like, oh man, what are they doing to the retail investors? But this is about crypto businesses. So, South Korea's Financial Services Commission has amended its financial reporting rules to include the cryptocurrency sector. This amendment mandates all crypto businesses, exchanges, asset managers, wallet providers, and custodial platforms to file records of their transactions with the Financial Intelligence Unit. Crypto reporting regulation will come into effect from March 25th. Virtual asset service providers in the country that fail to abide by the provision of the crypto reporting regulation before September 24th could face up to 50 million won, which is $44,000 in fines, or a 5-year prison sentence for their principal actors. So I feel like those two are really different from each other. $44,000 or 5 years in prison. Up to, I don't know. Feels like the time sentence is a lot worse than the money, right? But anyway, point being, regulations are coming. This is all concerning anti-money laundering and know your customer, all that good stuff. It's coming through the pipeline, and South Korea is starting it right here. Another one, Turkish government warms up to crypto, charts regulatory course. A senior Turkish government minister says he no longer has negative feelings towards crypto, and regulations targeting fraud are in the making. The Turkish Minister of Industry and Technology said today in an interview with the local media, Bloomberg HT, that the government will soon introduce crypto regulations, also adding, "I'm no longer feeling negative towards crypto. Now I understand that they are effective," right? Not much else to say here. All right, so in Turkey, their stance is crypto's here to stay, but we're going to regulate it. That's the theme. Another one, Bank of Japan governor stresses need to prepare for digital currency launch. So the governor of the Bank of Japan has said the central bank must prepare thoroughly for the possible future need to issue a digital yen. The BOJ has no plans at present for central bank digital currency launch, but Kuroda believes it must be prepared for a change in circumstances that could necessitate one, Reuters reported Tuesday. From the viewpoint of ensuring the stability and efficiency of the overall payment and settlement systems, it's important to prepare thoroughly to respond to changes in circumstances in an appropriate manner. Okay, so yes, we know all governments are going to launch CBDCs eventually, and they just keep talking about it, so they might as well do it right. Well, what platforms are designed for that? Specifically, Stellar Lumens and the XRP ledger, right? And we just saw Ripple announce that they're coming out with their private ledger specifically for central banks to utilize. That is not public transactions, right? It's supposed to be faster and more efficient than the regular XRP ledger as well. Just wanted to throw this in here real quick. So, former OCC chief Brian Brooks joins board of data sharing startup Spring Labs. So, Brian Brooks has finally found his new home. He left the office of the comptroller, and now he's going to work for the California-based data sharing startup Spring Labs, right? So they're doing They're transforming financial data exchange in a way that is better for consumers, according to Brooks. Right. So if you want to check out this company, it's called Spring Labs, which was founded as Spring Coin Incorporated, and they use cryptography and permission blockchain networks to change how consumer data is stored and shared. More mainstream news. So this is important to pay attention to as well, because you're starting to see the continuation of the narrative, right? So Bitcoin, NFTs, and other crypto fads are destroying our planet. Pretty long article here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just a few points to highlight. So like I said, the NFT market and the crypto boom in general do more harm than their supposed good. While NFTs may seem fun and potentially profitable, they rely on a technology that has proven to be dangerous, if not disastrous, for our environment. Right? So the blocks are added to the chain through a process known as crypto mining, where high-powered computers solve intricate mathematical puzzles. It's a fascinating technology, but unfortunately it takes a tremendous amount of energy to power these computers at the scale currently needed to sustain and grow crypto markets. Little highlight here, a study estimates that Bitcoin's carbon emissions are on track to equal that of the entire city of London. Moving on, they start talking about how Congress should hold hearings on blockchain's environmental impact as soon as possible and grill large platforms to account for how they plan to mitigate the environmental harm caused by crypto mining. Legislative solutions could range from requiring environmental impact assessments of companies operating blockchain to climate taxes on transactions. All right. Nothing else to be said here, really. Just like I said, pay attention to the narrative. They keep this stuff coming out about how basically mining is damaging for the environment. So what are they going to do? Who knows? That's why I've always said hedge your portfolios, right? At least focus on this long term and have stuff in your portfolio that fit the narrative of being sustainable, right? Those are going to be, once again, the ledgers that have different consensus mechanisms. Proof of stake, for one, but also Stellar, Ripple, Algorand, and so on. They have basically a consensus mechanism that consumes way less energy than Bitcoin and Ethereum. More mainstream stuff. So this is important to pay attention to as well. Right on the NASDAQ.com, why accredited investors are coming for crypto. Our new report gives a glimpse into the minds of accredited investors and their outlook on cryptocurrency, why they're investing, and how bullish they are on its future. So I will put the link to the full report in the description. You definitely check it out. Also, side note, along with that, the link to my Discord is in the description as well, and you should definitely jump in there. A lot of smart, intelligent individuals sharing great information. So I've learned a lot from my community already, and I'm glad to have started that Discord because it's provided a lot of value. All right. So the report reveals that 70% of those surveyed have already invested in Bitcoin and are well aware of what cryptocurrency is. This shows that crypto isn't a new investment opportunity, but rather that crypto has proven its worth and benefits, and that investors are already in. Nothing else to see here, really. Check out the report if you want to see what the accredited investors are actually saying. And it's just good to see the NASDAQ talking about how wealthy people are buying crypto, right? Because it's going to continue to drive in mainstream adoption. Another similar article, we've crossed a line. Why Goldman Sachs says crypto is here to stay. Matthew McDermott, the bank's most senior crypto exec, says there's no going back on digital assets as institutional investor clients pile in. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets are going to be a permanent feature of banks and asset managers' investment portfolios for the foreseeable future, Goldman Sachs' top authority on the sector said. Matthew McDermott the bank's global head of digital assets, said cryptocurrencies have now passed a point of no return in terms of adoption as a store of value and as a hedge against currency debasement fears. We've crossed the line now, he told Financial News in a phone interview. The focus will become broader, and so there'll just be different reasons for why you'd want to be involved with different cryptocurrencies because of the underlying technology that's coming, right? So if you need reassurance that you're not buying into some Ponzi or trap, well, stuff like this should help you out, right? NASDAQ accredited investors are buying crypto. Goldman Sachs executives are saying it's here to stay, which I totally agree with. I just also believe that there is going to be regulations that come similar to what you see in traditional finance. So do not be surprised whenever all these KYC and AML stuff comes out that makes doing your swippy swaps on all these swappy swip decentralized exchanges harder to do. All right. So I have a lot more news to cover, and I realize this video is getting pretty long, so I'm going to cut it off here, and I will do a second one here in the afternoon. I hope that was informative. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
Paper money is going away.
Yes.
And crypto is a far better way to transfer value than pieces of paper. That's for sure.
Without a doubt.
That has its pros and cons.
Just to clarify, Tesla's not going to start selling Bitcoin anytime
No, we're
soon.
not.
Okay, you heard it here first, even though everyone thought that.
Yeah, right.